Hey guys, it is Targon here doing another Raid Shadow Legends video, and today we're going to talk about the new fusion that is just coming out, just got started today, and it is none other than this guy. I think it's pronounced Pythion. I think that's correct, Pythion. Really cool champion. I'm going to pull him up in the index just so we can kind of see him, what he's going to be like when he's fully leveled up. Really awesome looking champion, I gotta say. Got a full-blown dragon here. Force Affinity, which is nice. I feel like Force Affinity's kind of hasn't been getting enough love. All the best champions seem to be Spirit, at least the ones that I end up pulling. So it would be nice to have some good Force Affinity champions, and this guy going to be a really good champion, guys. I believe just looking at his kit. Support champion, looks really solid. He has increased ally resistance in all battles by 60, which is really cool, especially for like higher end game content, which is nice because this is a champion that's going to really help you all the way through even to end game, I think. So we'll start just with his A1. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Heals the ally with the lowest HP by 5% of this champion's max HP after each hit. So he's going to hit twice, and that's going to, so it's going to basically heal by 10% of his max HP. Damage scales from attack, but I'm guessing I don't know what his damage multipliers are, but I'm guessing you're not going to necessarily want to build attack on him. My thought is you just build him with a ton of HP as a support champion. You're going to want to keep him alive. So the heal could be pretty substantial. The A2 removes all debuffs from all allies and then heals them by 10% of their max HP. He heals each ally by an extra 5% of their max HP for each debuff removed. Also places block debuffs on all allies for 2 turns. So this is huge, and you can book it to a 25% heal and a 3-turn cooldown. So it's almost like making them invulnerable to debuffs. You cleanse it all off, and then you can block the rest. So that's a really cool skill there. And then the A4 Immortal Serpent revives all dead allies with 50% HP, 50% turn meter, and then places a 25% strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns. This is a 4-turn cooldown, but I mean, this is a really solid skill here. The kind of the champion that this guy's kind of reminding me of is Duchess, actually, who's probably like one of the best revivers, if not the best reviver in game. It's a little different where she puts the veil up, but he's putting strengthen up, which is actually really nice because that way, like, even if you're getting hit with like AoEs and stuff, it gives them a chance to survive it. So that's really a solid revive in my opinion. Full team revive. And then his passive, allies receive 5% less damage from skills for each buff on them, stacks up to 25%. So, I mean, he's only supplying the potentially 2 buffs, but realistically, this is kind of the only buff that he's going to be placing consistently. But even so, you bring him in with a team where there's other buffs going on. You can get some shields, maybe an increased speed, so forth. And now we're talking just straight up damage minimization, up to 25%, which I think that's what Strengthen does. So if he revives everybody and gets the Strengthen up, and then there's the block damage up, and then you get enough other buffs up, you got like 50% damage reduction. You can maybe pair him with someone like Mithralia. So she's doing Strengthen and Shield. That would be a team that would be pretty hard to beat. So really solid kit, guys. I do think, every time I hear people saying like, oh, this is a must-have fusion, I've kind of just started rolling my eyes because we've had so many fusions where people are saying that, and then I look at it and I'm like, I don't really know how I'd be able to use this champion. I think this guy is maybe not a must-have, depending on where you are in your account and where you are in the game, but pretty close to a must-have. This will revolutionize a lot of your accounts. You know, and you want to look at where you're at. You know, for me, when I got Brogni, the Brogni fusion a long time ago, that really changed my account, really took it to the next level. I think for a lot of people, this can do the same thing. If you already have Duchess, or maybe you if you got what was the other, what was the skinwalker we had, Uko. Uh, this guy's a little similar to Uko with the team revive and such. But honestly, guys, I think this guy is going to be quite a bit better than Uko. The problem I had with Uko was just you're kind of doing a little bit of everything, like you're placing debuffs and you're doing revive. This guy is all about keeping your team alive, right? And I kind of like that because especially as you get later on in game, you want champions that like have one job to do and they do it incredibly well. That's what you're looking for. This guy does that. He's a healer, right? I mean, he's healing you with this skill. He's removing debuffs. He's blocking debuffs. He's healing on his A1, and he's bringing a revive, and he's bringing damage mitigation, and potentially bringing extra resist. This is going to be a really top-notch fusion. So let's go ahead and I'll pull up. Here's just sort of a list of the events going on, and let me I'll move myself over here. So right now we're on Thursday, and so we got the Ice Golem tournament and the Champion Training tournament, or Champion Training event, sorry. So my approach right now is I have just been focusing on the Champion Training because you'll notice that tomorrow we have Dungeon Divers starting in just a few hours. So my main push on Ice Golem is going to coincide with the Dungeon Divers. And so I'm going to try and get as much of the Champion Training event out of the way today. So, you know, always that's kind of one of the first things that I'll look at is how am I going to structure my dungeons with the Dungeon Diver. Obviously, you get points when you're getting artifacts from campaign if you're farming campaign for the training events, but it's not going to be as good as if you are farming the dungeons. So just keep that in mind. So we got this one. If you look down here, Dungeon Diver starts tomorrow. That's going to hit the back end of the Ice Golem tournament and the front end. I think, yeah, well, there'll be some overlap with the Fire Knight tournament as well. So maybe, you know, try and finish up as much of Champion Training today. And then tomorrow I'm going to hit Ice Golem real hard. And once I complete Ice Golem, I'll go back, finish Champion Training, and then do Fire Knight to kind of close out the Dungeon Divers. Dungeon Diver Event 2, I'm not sure how much overlap that's going to have with the Fire Knight tournament, because it kind of shows them one ending and the other starting, so we might not really get much overlap, so keep that in mind. So that means the Spider event is really the only dungeon event that you're going to have for that Dungeon Diver. So just pay attention to that. You may have to farm Spider a little bit more in order to pull off the Dungeon Diver event number 2. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Again, obviously you're going to have Champion Training as well, so that'll help. Again, you're going to want to probably get as much of that out of the way on day 1, the Champion Training tournament, and then focus on Spider. If you've got speed runs on Spider, great. I did put out a few videos on how to speed farm Spider, so it might be worth looking at how you can build a team, especially now we're in the Champion Training event. So train up some of those champions, maybe get an extra Cold Heart or something, and then go and see if you can get some nuke runs going on the Spider. We have, what is it? Just 2. Looks like just 2 arena tournaments. So it's kind of standard. There's 2 arena tournaments. Tournament for every dungeon. We have the Champion Chase tournament, which will give you 15 fragments without the leaderboard. So there is 115 fragments available total without topping the leaderboards in any of the tournaments. So I never try to top the leaderboards really. I'm just looking at getting the minimums done on everything, and because otherwise I'm wasting a ton of energy on something that somebody else might be going for, and it ends up being a waste. So I'd rather just get what I can. Uh, so down on the events, we have our the Summon Rush event has 20 fragments. So you cannot skip the Summon Rush. You could skip the Champion Chase if you wanted, or usually the way the Summon Rush is, there are 5 fragments earlier on and then 15 at the end. So that means you can grab your Champion Chase tournament, which I would kind of recommend because it's going to be a 2x on blue shards, which is usually like one of the best values, I think, for shards, is the double chances on the ancient shards. So I'm planning on going ahead, hitting Champion Chase tournament, getting all the fragments from that, and then probably I'll just pick up the easy 5 from Summon Rush, unless there's like a really good event going on to coincide with it, with like a 10x on somebody, or if it's a guaranteed champion or something like that, and I have the shards for it, then I might go for that. Other thing to pay attention to is we have not 2 but 3 artifact enhancement events. So that means you're going to need a lot of silver. So if you're a little low on silver, I mean, you can pick up quite a bit as you're farming dungeons and so forth, but just pay attention to your silver levels. You may want to be a little cautious. Maybe instead of grabbing the top rewards from each of the previous 2 artifact enhancement events, maybe just kind of get the fragments and leave it at that, just to make sure that you've got enough for that last one. And I'm not sure how high the points are going to be. All right, but it is kind of nice because we're going to finish all this other stuff to get as much silver as possible, and then that artifact enhancement event, you've got a few extra days at the end to get it. And the good news, guys, this is a fragment fusion, not a classic fusion, so it's going to be a lot easier. Well, maybe, yeah, it's not easy. It's easier because you don't have to level up and ascend all the other champions. You collect the fragments and go. You just want to make sure that you're getting the fragments. So really pay attention to that calendar. Raid, I think they posted that. I got that image off of Discord. So maybe go to the Discord and just download it. That way you can kind of look at it, plan it out. They have it in the news. So I kind of like seeing it laid out, just so that way I can see which ones have happened and just make sure, okay, yes, I am on track. You want to just pay attention that, every day, like before you go to bed, like check and see, like, okay, is there an event that's about to end here? So that's pretty much it. Hope that you guys are able to get this champion. Hope you have enough shards and resources saved. I know Plarium's been throwing a bunch of stuff at us to try and get us to use our resources. I am glad that I saved for a fusion. I've kind of slowed down on fusions, and I only go for them when I think they can really be of benefit to me. And I think this one certainly can be, especially on my alt account. Even on my main, I'm sure I will be using him. Because probably, like, with resistance, we're talking Doom Tower, we're talking some of the new dungeons, and just some of the higher end content that you're going to be playing. So definitely a champion worth picking up if you've got the chance to do so. All right, so good luck on the fusion, guys. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you want to wait and see on this guy? I think he's a go. I'm going for him all the way. So let me know your thoughts. All right, so I will catch you next time.